held a meeting by the Minister of Education, Adamo, with pro-chancellors, chairmen of councils, as well as vice-chancellors of universities. The meeting, held behind closed doors, was part of efforts to resolve the 7-month industrial action by lecturers of public universities. The Director of Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Education, Ben Gong, disclosed this to journalists after the meeting, which lasted for over 2 hours. He said the committee is to also look into issues of increase in the salaries of the university lecturers and come up with workable solutions. In a related development, the federal government has constituted another committee to look into the recommendations of the Emeritus Professor Nimi Briggs Committee in charge of the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement between the government and the university-based staff unions. The unions include the Academic Staff Union of Universities and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, among others. The 14-man committee comprised some pro-chancellors, vice-chancellors, and other stakeholders. The spokesperson for the Ministry of Education, Ben Gong, who briefed journalists after the meeting, noted that the committee will be chaired by the Minister of Education, Adamo. Adamo on Tuesday inaugurated the 14-man committee to look into the recommendations concerning the resolution of the lingering ASU strike. According to the spokesperson for the Ministry of Education, Ben Gong, the members of the committee include Professor Olu Obafemi, Professor Nimi Briggs, Udo Udoma, Bashir Dalhatu, Professor Kayode Adebowale, University of Ibadan, Professor Kabir Bala, Ahmadu Bello, University Zaria, Professor Lilian Salami, University of Benin, Professor Charles Igwe, University of Nigeria, Unzuka, Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Professor Ishak Oloyede, representatives of the Academy of Letters, Science, Medicine, and Social Sciences. The committee will be chaired by Adamu. And still on education, the Ogun State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has fixed Wednesday, 7th September 2022 for the commencement of online application form for 2022-2023 transfer exercise into public secondary schools. A statement by the Commissioner in the Ministry, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, says the cost of the form is 5,000 naira only. The statement advised prospective applicants to visit Oxera platform on https://oxera.ogustate.ng. Ogun State Ministry of Health, in conjunction with UNICEF, has organized a 5-day workshop on the development of Health Annual Operational Plan for 2023. The 5-day stakeholders workshop is being organized to address the strategic plan for health objectives with 15 priority areas that will help in developing the health sector in the state. Fatima Adigbai has the details in this package.
Ogun State 2023 Annual Operational Plan identifies with the achievements of the 2022 operational year's objective and also outlines the ministry targets within the year. Declaring the workshop open, Dr. Tomi Koka, the Ogun State Commissioner for Health, in a keynote address, implored stakeholders to monitor the plan.
Let's also be realistic in what we want to do. Let's know what we can achieve so that rather than getting a performance of 52%, we can actually get our performance up to 75% because we know what our capital is likely to be like. We want to know what's going in our state.
Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Kayode Oladeinde, stated that the annual operational plan is important for a smooth running of the health sector.
It takes us to know what we have done last year, where we are right now, the failures we had, and for us to incorporate all these into what we are going to do next year for us to be successful next year. And that's exactly what we are doing. And we've started doing that in the past 2 years. And I can assure you we are progressively moving on, progressively making some successes.
The Director, Planning, Research and Statistics, Ministry of Health, Dr. Kayode Kushimo, speaks more on the plan.
The health system is a holistic package, and what the annual operational plan does for us is to get the pieces together, of all, that make the health system work in the state.
The developed annual operational plan for 2023 covers 15 priority areas of health, including reproductive, maternal, newborn, child, adolescent health, communicable and non-communicable diseases, and care of the elderly, amongst others.
Ogun State Ministry of Health, in conjunction with UNICEF, has organized a 5-day workshop on the development of health and operational plan for 2023. The 5-day stakeholders workshop is being organized to address the strategic plan of health objectives with 15 priority areas that will help in developing the health sector in the state. Fatima Adigbai has the details. Still continuing on the news, Ogun State Ministry of Special Duties has organized the distribution of ATM cards in activations and collection of 50,000 naira each to the beneficiaries of Household Uplifting Program at Ikene local government of Ogun State. The National Cash Transfer Program, also known as Household Uplifting Program HUP, is one of the social safety nets programs anchored by the federal government of Nigeria. The program commenced in September 2016 and Ogun State government keyed into the program in 2020. Tumininu Babashola has the details.
In order to alleviate poverty, the federal government, in collaboration with the Ogun State government, has put a smile on the faces of its people with a distribution of 50,000 naira each to the beneficiaries of Household Uplifting Program. The program is a direct transfer payment to people of humanitarian crisis assisting in situations. 10,456 households were mined from the state social register, while 9,593 households were captured and given ID cards for the payment. The Commissioner of Special Duties, Mrs. Olufemi Loriodunto, congratulated the beneficiaries and advised them to invest their money wisely, safeguard their PIN, and urged them not to disclose their card details to anyone to avoid being defrauded.
It's from the federal government and down to state government. It was facilitated by our governor, His Excellency Prince Abeokuta, and in making sure that all the grassroots and people in need, they can get the benefit and start with their business.
Mrs. Fumi Baker, Director for Conditional Cash Transfer, advised the beneficiaries to be diligent with their spending as mentoring and coaching programs have been organized for them.
With the money given to them, we are expecting them to form themselves into groups which we actually supervise. The card can be used anywhere, on any ATM.
Some of the beneficiaries revealed their intentions about the money.
I will use it to boost my business, and I appreciate Ogun State government for the financial support.
I'll use the money to pay my children's school fees and buy their school books.
2 local government areas were picked from each senatorial district: Ijebu East, Ikene, Ipokia, Yewa North, Odeda, and Iwekoro. The 50,000 naira is a backlog of the monthly 5,000 from July 2021 to April 2022.
In continuation of the consideration of 2020 audit reports of ministries, departments and agencies of government in Ogun State, the State House of Assembly Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption has invited the State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Mr. Ade Akinsoya, to appear before the committee on Monday, 19th September 2022 to clarify some issues relating to the audit report of the ministry. The invitation, according to the committee chairman, Honorable Musafiu Lamidi, was to enable Engineer Akinsoya provide further clarifications on some grey areas regarding the financial activities of the ministry in the 2020 financial year. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the exercise, and details of his report are presented in this package.
Chairman, House Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption, Honorable Musafiu Lamidi, alongside other committee members while examining financial activities of Ministry of Works and Infrastructure for 2020 financial year, as presented by the management team led by the special advisor to the Governor on Works, Engineer Kim Adeshino, invited the commissioner in charge of the ministry, Engineer Ade Akinsoya, to appear before the committee to clear the air regarding the State Auditor General's report. The committee also directed the ministry to submit all contract policy files for the year under review, in addition to cash inflows and outflows from January 2020 to December 2021 to the committee.
Therefore, whenever we are requesting for documents, we don't want anybody out of impunity to prevent the progress of this committee on what we have been asking for. Anybody doing that will definitely face the consequence.
The chairman further called for the submission of contractors' register to include the details of Motef Engineering Limited, Fanaxel Limited, Bashkol Civil Engineering, and Iozam Engineering, while imploring the ministry official to provide an up-to-date inventory movement register to curb unauthorized movement of inventory items. The committee also examined the financial records of the State Ministry of Justice as presented by the Permanent Secretary Solicitor General, Mr. Bamidele Adebayo, with a commendation to the management for their laudable performance in 2020 revenue achievements.
Still ahead, federal government disbands NSCDC anti-vandal teams. For the 20 local government areas of Ogun State, the Local Government Service Commission has embarked on the working visit to the unified local government councils in the state. The commission, led by its chairman, Barrister Olivia Olubukola Onobanjo, in the course of the visit, declared that the commission, through its members, permanent secretary and the entire management team, remain committed to performing its statutory role as an appellate body for all petitions from all local government employees. Benga Adekoya reports that Ijebu-Ode, Ikene, and Shagamu were the 3 local government visited. His report is presented in this package.
Call it a homecoming or a working visit, you may not be far from it, as it was both for the chairman of the Ogun State Local Government Service Commission, Barrister Olivia Olubukola Onobanjo, daughter of the pioneer chairman of Ijebu-Ode Local Government and the first civilian governor of Ogun State, Chief Victor Olabisi Onobanjo. On getting to Ijebu-Ode, Barrister Onobanjo had meetings with the incumbent chairman of Ijebu-Ode Local Government, Honorable Sikiru Emiola Gaza, executive members of community development associations in the area, and members of staff of the council.
I realize that the Local Government Service Commission oversees the affairs of staff at the local government level. And so what they have come to do is just to judge up, more like an oversight function, and see how the staff of the council are faring.
The next port of call was the Ikene local government area of the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun.
I would like to appreciate the prompt payment of our salary, as this has gone a long way in improving the morale of the members of staff. I therefore appeal that the government will keep up this good gesture.
The visitation of the Local Government Service Commission is very, very good to us. So I'm very, very happy to receive them.
Shagam local government area of Ogun State was the last port of call. In all the council areas visited, the Local Government Service Commission chairman and our entourage met with the council bosses, community development associations, and the entire workforce of each local government, during which comments, observations, and challenges facing them in the discharge of their duties were addressed.
It was an interactive session to see how well our members of staff are faring, the relationship between our staff and the local government chairman and the political class there. They have given us various suggestions, the challenges they face, and we will, as the commission, at the end of this exercise, sit down to address those issues.
The visit also availed the commission the opportunity to have an on-the-spot assessment of the working environment of the councils.
As the laying of first layer of asphalt is completed on the Kenta-Shomorin Road, the people of the area have expressed belief that their communities are set to witness massive transformation. They expressed this view while speaking with our news crew who went to monitor the progress of work on the road. Matthew Showomi completes the report.
The sleepy communities along Kenta-Shomorin Road expected to connect Obantoko with Idiaba while serving as a bypass, coming alive again with the completion of the first layer of asphalt on the road. The business and shop owners along the road are already counting their blessings given the impact the opening up of the road is already having on their economic activities. They could not hide their joy for the reconstruction of the road that was in terrible condition.
Láti bí àìmọye ọdún tí ìyà ọ̀nà ti ń jẹ wá ní ibi.
We have been suffering on this road for quite a while before the intervention of the Prince Dakwa Abeokuta-led administration in the state.
Ẹni pé first layer yìí ó ti kanlẹ̀.
Ọ̀nà yóò dá rárá tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀.
The road was in such a terrible condition before the reconstruction, which we are very happy about.
In fact, inú wa dùn gan-an. Erukuru pọ̀ jù, ọjà ò yá.
Economic activities were at their lowest before the reconstruction, and we are happy with the situation of things now.
They encourage the people of the communities to make good use of the infrastructure. Matthew Showomi, OGTV News.
Nigeria and the Republic of Poland have resolved to cooperate and collaborate more effectively towards cutting efforts at addressing the food and energy crisis bedeviling the global community as a result of the war in Ukraine. Consequently, a memorandum of understanding on agriculture has been signed between the two countries as part of strategic dialogue aimed at deepening and expanding their economic cooperation. This formed the major highlights of the high-level talks between President Muhammadu Buhari and his Polish Republic counterpart Andrzej Duda in Abuja.
Stąd też zacieśnianie relacji pomiędzy Polską a Nigerią.
It is immensely important piece of document, especially in the light of the food security crisis that is faced right now, and not only by Nigeria, but also by the entire African continent. And that is why it's so important to us to further strengthen the relations between Poland and Nigeria right now. One element strengthening these relations is the memorandum that we have signed today. It is very important for the future of our relations, but also for the future of the food security in Nigeria and at large. It can also contribute to the modernization and increasing the efficiency of Nigerian economy and Nigerian agriculture, but it also can serve as a vehicle for sharing experiences. And speaking about the energy security dimensions, the talks that we have had today are essential from the perspective of supplying both LNG gas as well as oil to Poland and to the European Union.
I wish to express the readiness of Nigeria to enlarge the fields of economic cooperation with Poland, including the fields of energy, agriculture, and manufacturing. We are gratified by our already fruitful cooperation in the maritime, education, and defense fields. In view of the numerous global challenges, we would like to develop new mechanisms such as regular strategic dialogues and political consultations to cover not only bilateral relations, but also to address regional and international issues.
All internally displaced persons, either by insurgency or flood, are to participate in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gave the assurance at a meeting to validate regulations for voting by IDPES in the 2023 elections. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu and his men, security agencies, other stakeholders were united by common agenda of validation of regulations for voting by IDPs at the meeting. 17 guidelines were put forward for consideration, including intra-state IDPs to vote in all elections, while interstate IDPs opt for only presidential polls.
On account of displacement by emergency situations.
Review of the agenda for the day was presented by the INEC boss.
To make an important clarification.
The federal government has ordered the immediate dissolution of all anti-vandal squads of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) in all oil-producing states in the country. It was reported that this may not be unconnected with the outcome of the discrete investigations carried out by the Corps top management to ascertain the level of involvement of NSCDC officers in oil theft. Announcing the dissolution, the Commandant General of the Corps, Dr. Abubakar Ahmed Audi, who talked tough on the need for the Corps hard-earned integrity to be sustained, assured that the anti-vandal units of the Corps will be reconstituted in due course. The Chairman Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions and All Progressive Congress APC governorship candidate for Kaduna State in 2023, Senator Uba Sani, has revealed that President Muhammadu Buhari's nominees have been cleared for confirmation as non-executive directors of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The lawmaker, in a statement, mentioned the 4 reappointed non-executive directors who were screened as Professor Mike Idiahi Obadan, Professor Josita Odinachuku Unaboko, Professor Omo Ahmed Jalingo, and Mr. Adiola Adetunji. Shedding light on the process, the senator said the nominees were asked a wide range of questions on the mandate of the CBN, the challenges it is facing, the current situation in the banking and financial sectors, how to build strong synergy between the monetary and fiscal authorities, and how to get Nigeria out of its present economic difficulties. The lawmaker noted that the screening session was robust and interactive, adding that the nominees exhibited high levels of understanding of the Nigerian economy, as well as the challenges, intricacies, and opportunities of the Nigerian financial sector. Beyond formal education, parents have been advised to inculcate the virtue of self-actualization and skill development in their words for an assured future. Secretary to State Government, Mr. Tokumbo Talabi, gave the charge at the installation and investiture of Grand Patrons and Award of Excellence by the Ijebu North District Council of Boys and Girls Brigade held at the Cathedral Church of St. Matthew, Ijebu Igbo.
My charge is not to the children, it is to the adults who are here today, that we need to come together to make sure that we set a good future for these children. And I'm very particularly happy because the template we are going to be using is the template that the Lord Jesus has given us as members of the bodies of Christ.
Being noted, the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led government is genuinely committed to youth development that will galvanize nation building, adding that the youth are critical stakeholders in the building our future together agenda of the state government. The SSG, who noted that he is willing to support the Guild towards empowering and equipping them for purposeful and fulfilling lives, called on parents and all other public-spirited people to invest in the younger generation, High point of the event was the SSG's inspection of a solar power station newly constructed by the family of Pa Samson Oladapo Taiwo for the church. There is an addition to immigration slangs. It is known as Jakpa amongst the teeming youths on the streets. Jakpa is a Yoruba word corrupted to mean both out. Our news crew was on the streets of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, to compile reasons for sudden exodus of many youths, irrespective of their social and economic status. Fowora Adisonwu reports.
If you ask me that I should just calm down for him, that he's going, that's what we are even saying before you came, safe.
Jakpa is the new craze in the town. The slang Jakpa is made popular by Nigerian musician Naira Marley, whose real name is Azeez Adesina Fashola. Nigerians have been traveling abroad for the time immemorial, but nowadays, moving out of the country has become a common idea amongst the Nigerian youth.
It's like a slang, commonly used by younger ones of my age. So when they say Jakpa, they mean people try to find an alternative route to solutions, whereby they leave the natural problem. People think of maybe running away, maybe finding the greener pastures abroad and the likes.
This 42-year-old Adeshola Bashorun, a hairdresser, who is married with a kid and has 21 apprentices, as comfortable as she may appear to be, she has a tall dream of leaving the country, or Jakpa, as the case may be, anytime.
My customer doesn't stop me from traveling. So if I have any opportunity to travel abroad or to Japan now, I will Japan now. I mean, I Japan.
Like Adeshola, Prudent Einaya runs a boutique outlet, and she lamented the insecurity and the dwindling economy of the Nigerian state are reasons for wanting to elope to Europe.
Because there is no employment, there is no good road, people cannot even afford a 3-square meal.
The case of Bolanle Daniels is similar. She wants to bolt out of Nigeria, or Jakpa, for not being able to secure a job since 2010, when she completed a degree program.
No job, nothing. If at all I have opportunity to do one work or the other, they will ask me to go and bring 10 years experience, 20 years experience, which I've never had opportunity to do at least 2 years experience.
But some respondents sound some serious warning to all and sundry wishing to bolt out amidst unlimited opportunity the Nigerian nation offers.
Like someone, like maybe they want to help you to travel out. They may not tell you like they want to use you to do something like prostitution or any other things.
I would advise people that are going youth to make sure what you want to go and do there, make sure you know what you want to go and do, and it's certain. Because some people, you have good job here, or you are perfectly okay here, but you now go there and be doing many job that doesn't worth what you left here. So I would advise, make sure you know and you prepare yourself well before leaving this place.
No doubt, the nation is going through a tough time currently, but Nigerians will build Nigeria whenever they resolve to do such without being prompted. Ade Fowora Adesonwu, OGTV News.
The primate of the Church of the Lord, Most Reverend Dr. Rufus Okikiola Oshitelo, has been elected the president of the World Council of Churches, WCC, for Africa. His election was at the 11th World Council of Churches for Africa General Assembly held on 5th September 2022 in Germany by delegates from across the world. Other regions with newly elected president include Asia, Caribbean, Latin American, Europe, North America, Pacific, Eastern Orthodox, and Oriental Orthodox. The WCC is a fellowship of 352 member churches in over 120 countries, representing over 560 million Christians all over the world. The new president for the body in Africa, Most Reverend Oshitelu, brings to this table an episcopal experience spanning over 4 decades, which he has served in various capacities. Business news is next on our lineup. Stay tuned.
This is the business segment of the news. The federal government has announced that it had inaugurated 4 technical working groups to review and implement a strategic roadmap for the resuscitation of the ailing enterprises across the country. It outlined the groups to include those to work in the automobile, housing, bricks and clay, mines and steel, as well as oil palm sectors. Inaugurating the groups on behalf of the federal government in Abuja, the Director General, Bureau of Public Enterprises, Alex Oko, said the initiative was in consonance with the ease of doing business in Nigeria target and the federal government's economic recovery and growth plan. Contrary to the present practice where Nigeria depends on operators for production data to determine daily volume and oil earnings, the federal government, through the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, said it would commence the installation of its own flow meters on oil production facilities and pipelines in the upstream sector. The move, though radical, considering that the nation has always depended on data from oil-producing firms, has been approved by President Muhammadu Buhari and is expected to save the nation billions of dollars lost through inaccurate meters and dependence on oil companies for data. Although claims that Nigeria does not know its daily oil production have once been discarded, the NUPRC Chief Executive Officer, Benga Komolafe, confirmed that the nation relies on production data from operators rather than the regulator sourcing its own data from its own installed meters. The equities market of the Nigerian Exchange Limited declined by 30 billion naira at the end of trading as 18 firms saw their share prices fall. The NGX All Share Index closed at 49,991.41 basis points on Monday from 50,045.83 on Friday, while the market capitalization fell to 26.964 trillion naira from 26.994 trillion naira. A total of 200.92 million shares valued at 1.45 billion naira were traded by investors in 3,976 deals at the end of trading on the floor of the NGX. 12 companies recorded share price appreciation, while 18 firms' share prices declined. The National Identity Management Commission has disclosed that givers and receivers of cash transactions of any form at its centers are liable for prosecution. The Commission further stressed that all payments and financial transactions are to be made through the NIMC Remitter platform only, prohibiting any cash transaction. The warning was made in a public announcement issued by the Commission. It was also stated that Nigerians are required to pay the sum of 15,000 naira to modify their date of birth information. According to the Commission, the sum of 500 naira each is required for NIN slip reprint and modification of biodata, excluding DOP. And lastly, electricity workers under the aegis of the National Union of Electricity Employees have sworn to liberate the country from what it described as the clutches of the hustlers in the power sector, just as it described the privatization process as assured. A statement signed by the Assistant General Secretary of the Association, Lagos Ogun Zonal Council, Temple Iworima, said it will no longer allow electricity distribution companies and generating companies to take advantage of Nigerians. The union said since the privatization of the power sector in October 2013, the sector had remained dormant and has failed to add value to the lives of the Nigerian citizens. According to the statement, the infrastructure of the new owners of the power sector has almost gone comatose, while the socioeconomic status of the average worker in the sector has continued to decline amidst prevailing harsh economic conditions. And that was Business News. Thanks so much for watching. Back to Yabo for the rest of the bulletin.